Hello, Angie Gerber here, and welcome to my podcast, Awareness. Once you know, you can't unknow. A place you can come to start thinking and shifting your thoughts to finally create the results you truly, truly desire. It'll shift your mindset and give you strategies to get out there and get it done. Let's get started. Hello, and on today's episode, I'm going to talk about a new book I'm reading. It's written by one of my coaches and mentors that I have been following, and that's been helping me for probably about the last year and a half in my journey. And his name is Doug Dane, and he wrote a book called Mistaken Identity. And it releases in April. I believe April 4th is the release date. But I have been so honored and am grateful to be part of his book study that he's doing with a small group of individuals where we get to go through the book with him and the exercises and, just dive into it. So we met yesterday for the first time. So I wanted to talk today about the first chapter in his book, which is titled Stop Judging. It just spoke to me, and there's so much going on in the world and even individually, probably within each of our own lives, where we just sit in this judgment of others, of ourselves. And what hit me is that if you're not making your goals, or if you're not making those strides, or if you're stuck and you're not getting the results you want, a lot of the basis and if the underlying reason could be the judgment we have, what brings us to think the way we think and let the paradigms and habitual habits run the show. So I have his book here in front of me, and I wanted to just read through the first chapter, Stop Judging. And it says, judging a person does not define who they are. It defines who you are. It goes on to say, when you stop judging others, you'll stop judging yourself. When we are born, we are authentic and filled with love without judgment. But very early on, we learn to judge. It starts small and it grows. It grew in you and it grew in the ones around you who raised you and taught you. We watched our parents judge people. They criticized the neighbors. They criticized their friends, talked behind people's backs. They criticized each other. And when they raised us, they criticized us. They didn't mean to, but they did. They told us what was right and wrong and defined what was good and bad. If we got it right, we got praised, love, validation, and approval. But if we got it wrong, then we were judged, criticized, punished, yelled at, and in the author's case, hit, ignored. Self-doubt grew within us, and we began to judge ourselves. Then we started judging others. We punished ourselves when we didn't measure up, and we would look for validation from others to confirm we were doing things right. This created our fear of criticism, and we began to worry about what others thought about us. We don't like what we think about ourselves, and we're afraid of what others think of us. And most of us aren't even aware of it. This fear is further fueled by social media, politics, through fashion and style, through television, magazines. It's everywhere. We learned to cover up how we felt or what we thought because we didn't want to be judged. We learned to cover up who we really were, and we fell into line. Then we started to dislike ourselves, maybe even hate ourselves. And we didn't want anyone to know what we thought of ourselves. What would they think of us if they really knew what we were thinking and feeling? Judgment is a pandemic, and it's spreading. He goes on to say, as an adult and a parent, I see the cycle is continuing. Many adults are struggling with judgment and the fear of criticism, and they're raising children who are struggling. The parents are struggling to help their struggling children, and they don't know what to do. I really struggled and got stuck a lot. I judged myself. Who wouldn't? I can imagine how you must feel about yourself. You will see stories throughout the book that relate to this. Don't judge yourself if you do. Judgment and fear of criticism causes you to worry. When you worry, it creates anxiety, which leads to depression and maybe worse. Anxiety and depression seem to be the new norm. It seems no one knows what to do. Pills and counseling have become the go-to remedies, but they aren't the cure. Mental health awareness is a popular narrative these days, but it just brings attention to the problem, not the cure. We are treating symptoms, not the cause. Judgment is the cause. Letting go of your past and how you view it is the cure. Learning to like yourself, forgive yourself, and ridding yourself of worrying about what others think is the cure. If you realize why you were judged and you understand why you judge yourself, you can let it go and be free. As a parent, I realize it's not my job to pass along my rules, values, and beliefs that set me up to judge. I'm supposed to get rid of my judgment, so I don't pass it along to my daughter and others in my life. We all run the risk of judging our children and spreading the disease. I still judge other people sometimes, but the difference now is that I catch myself doing it. And when I do catch myself, I stop it. And I remind myself to look for the good in others. For me to see the good in someone else, I must see the good in me. I discovered a cure for self-judgment and fear of criticism. It's a 3-step process. The first step is to stop judging others. The second naturally follows. When you stop judging others, you stop judging yourself, or at least start judging yourself less. And you feel better about yourself. You become lighter. The third is you become immune to other people's judgment of you. When I became more immune to judgment, the dis-ease, which is the word disease hyphenated, the dis-ease began to ease. When I started treating people better, I started treating myself better. That made me feel free. It's that simple. Make these steps a habit, and when you do, you'll find that you judge yourself less. Be careful what you send out, because it will come back and hit you in the back of your head. It's called the boomerang effect. And as I started to direct more love and acceptance towards others, more love and acceptance came back to me. When we judge others, it's a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. I discovered there is good in me. The judgments I've made over the years created a dis-ease in me that had impacted so many areas of my life. I have now forgiven myself. I've forgiven those who have hurt me out of their own hurt, judgment, and fear. I was surprised how simple it was and how quickly things changed for me. My mission is to help rid others of judgment. If I can get adults to stop judging themselves and others, then they can be freer, and the people they judge will be freer. Then they can free their children from judgment, and then they can raise them to be healthier and happier. Their children can grow up to be adults who are healthy and happy, and raise children who are also healthy and happy. I figure it'll take 1 or 2 generations to help reduce enough judgment to create a better world. And Doug Dane in his book goes on to give action steps. Your first step is to stop judging. Make a list of things you judge yourself for. Pick one thing from your list and decide you're going to practice letting go of it each day. Make a list of the people in your life whom you judge. Pick one person to decide that you're no longer going to judge them. And practice, starting today. As you practice this first step, pay attention to what you say and think to yourself about others and correct yourself. Look for the good in people and treat others the way you want to be treated. That's the cardinal rule, right? Treat others the way you want to be treated. And it's so true. He continued the call with a study that he had done over, North America, Canada, Europe, and of the population he studied and had looked at. It's believed, and it's pretty much true, that 50% of the population had gone through a traumatic event, some sort of abuse, whether it be emotional, physical, mental, sexual, turn to drugs, alcohol, eating disorder, so many things. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg of the list. But 50% of people have gone through a traumatic event of some sort. How much judgment do you think people hold based on something that they went through and something that's still tied to them from their past that's weighing them down? We've talked about it before. I have in past episodes about the victim mentality and choosing to be a victim. And what else he brought up, which is another layer, is that by choosing to be a victim and holding on to that mentality, victims can turn into villains. And what you can do is let go of your story, let go of your traumatic event. Drop the victim mentality. Get rid of your mistaken identity and change your mind. I mean, if you read his book, which I encourage you to, again, Doug Dane, Mistaken Identity, if he can persevere and get through what he went through, and for years, decades, he held on to it. He had certain beliefs and judgments and mistaken identity and just imposter syndrome and all the things that so many of us have. He was able to make a decision and in that moment pivot and truly come from the grace of God, from the knowing that what happened to him was also a result of those people's judgments and those people's upbringings and paradigms and habitual habit. And when you can get to a place spiritually, mentally, even physically, where you can go back and want to find these people to forgive them and to help them as he wants to, I mean, that is something we need to see more of. It would shift everything because truly nothing is going to change what happened. Nothing is going to make it not happen. What can change is your perception of it and what you do with the event, with the trauma. And he said, pills, all the stuff that is just thrown at us to help us get through. It's a Band-Aid. And there's a way. I've found the way. I went through the process of really understanding this and being able to let go. And when you let go and you free yourself, you open up very quickly to level up. And Doug's point is, if I can take my years and decades of struggle and level up for other people, what shouldn't take long at all, we just make it hard. We make it difficult. It isn't. If you make the choice and you make the irrevocable decision that it's going to be different and you want to change, then it's as good as done. And now it's just going through the process. I got a message this morning from one of my clients, and I just had to share it because it fell perfectly into what so many of us, fight with every day. And that's when you have that low energy and when you have that day that makes you want to give up. What do you do? Do you just give up? Are you part of the 90 to 95% that do? Just revert back and say it's too hard. It'll never happen to me. Who am I to think? I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't know how to do this. This could never happen to me. I'm not that person. It's all our paradigms and habitual habits. So her message to me was, I wanted you to know yesterday I was having some really down feelings, giving up, not strong enough to face challenges. And because I learned from you, I was able to only sit in that mindset for a few hours. Dark days and sad feelings are leading me to my breakthrough. Thanks for sharing all you've learned. It brought me hope. And you know what? That message is something that the universe provided me as well, because I needed it. Because yesterday for me too, I reading this book and starting down this journey of judgment and of forgiveness and of what's holding me back from my next level up. It's a lot. I mean, I've shared my story here a few episodes ago, and that's only one of my stories. I have others that are definitely weighing me down and that are part of why I could be stuck. And what I wrote back to her is, I really needed to hear that today. I've been having some mood altering thoughts and feelings as well. Yes, these days are here by design, and it's what's on the other side of them. That's where the beauty lies. Stay strong against the paradigms and habitual habits and say not today. Raise your vibration often to the frequency you desire, where your ultimate goals are. Think from that point and let go of the thoughts that don't serve you. It's a royal battle and so worth it in the end, on the other side. And remember, 90 to 95% of the population choose not to battle and give up. You are special, you are different, and you are part of the 5% that will conquer your paradigms. I'm so excited for you. The awareness is with you and in you, and you cannot unknow it now. So truly, I am here and I am doing this because I, much like Doug Dane, want to change people's awareness. Get this information out. If it's one person at a time, I want to reach millions. If you are part of the 90-95%, which most people are, and you are truly ready for that change, that understanding and awareness and perception shift that will show you the way. It's a process, it's a system, and it works. If I can do it, anyone can do it. I'm telling you, if I've come as far as I've come from where I've been, and I'm only scratching the surface, I promise you, you can do this as well. It's about understanding what's happening, when it's happening, and how to shift out of it. And that's the message I got this morning. And I've only been working with this client for a few months. And it's so rewarding because people can level up very quickly once you understand and you are aware. It all falls into place. So I'm so excited as well to offer and mention that the 6-month Thinking into Results program. I've been studying a few different consultants and how people are doing things a little bit differently. And I want to offer a monthly program that's at a less of an expense and yet gets the impact that's the desired from so many of my clients. I want to make this accessible to more people. So if you are part of the 90 to 95% that are sick and tired of being sick and tired, you want a change that's going to stick and last. Again, once you know this and you're aware of this, you cannot become unaware. And I promise you, I come here today and I speak these words and I do what I do every day because I am a product of the product and I know it works and it is now my passion and my mission. I would love to have a call with you because it can be different. You can move out of the 90 to 95% and into the 5%. And that number will shift to 85% and to 80 as I get this word out and as I get in front of more people. I want it to be the exact opposite. I want the awareness to be to everyone. So if you want to join me and you want to learn more, I am happy to jump on a call and talk a little bit more about your situation, your goals, your dreams, your desires, and how I fit into that situation and to help you level up. Thanks for spending some time with me today. And if you like what you heard, feel free to share, like, subscribe, follow, do whatever it is you do. I'd love to get this out to as many people as possible because it truly all does start with awareness. Once you know, you cannot unknow, and it changes everything. And of course, if I can help in any way, I'm here and happy to do so. Until next time, make it a good one.